diva who starts things off. Let's hear from Diva Robin.
All right. Thank you so much, Ronnie B. I am delighted to be here and welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone. I am Diva Robin. Our course leader, our course leaders, including myself, are the Divas. Nakia Franklin, the Princess of Faith, Nikki Taplin, Jacqueline Brown, and our guest leader, Janice Hollis. The intention of this course, I just want to jump right in here, is for people to create breakthroughs in their ability to create breakthroughs for living wealthy. And I want to say that to you again. Not just to create breakthroughs, but to create breakthroughs in our ability to create breakthroughs. So the intention of this course is for people to create breakthroughs in their ability to create breakthroughs for living wealthy, not living okay, not living satisfactorily, living wealthy. This 6-session seminar has inquiries and exercises you can apply immediately in manifesting breakthrough results in the areas of money and freedom. Money and freedom, y'all. There is a powerful way to listen and participate in the seminar. You've heard me say this before, and I'm going to tell you again. Listen from what 3 breakthroughs am I creating tonight in the areas of money and freedom. As you are working, we are going to share what your fellow participants are saying. I'm actually going to repeat the part about the powerful way to listen. So it is a little bit different from last time, but right along the same lines. And it's listen from what are the breakthroughs you're creating, and specifically what 3 breakthroughs am I creating tonight in the areas of money and freedom. As you're working, we're going to share what your fellow participants are saying. Diva Nikki, over to you, dear heart.
Well, thank you, Diva Robin. Hello, hello, everyone. So we have a writing from Gloria Kenner in Toronto, and she says, "Thank you, Divas. This course has given my husband and I a new lease on a marriage that was heading toward divorce. I truly appreciate Diva Robin sharing her budget issue with her husband and how easy it was for her to resolve. Once she focused on resolving the issue instead of having it that her husband was irresponsible and needed to get his act together, here's what to do. That was huge. Do I want the issue resolved, or do I want to make some point with my husband, which is really just making him wrong? Now, when Miss Janice mentioned how couples say the number one reason for divorce was money or issues about money, I said to myself, true, she's right. It seems like my husband and I are constantly arguing about money, and finances, divorce seems inevitable. Then there was something Ronnie B said about the past and the current world, how limitations on your power are inauthentic, that they are not real, they are the past. That blew my mind, and I just started crying. I realized my husband and I really don't have money issues. The real issue is I have never forgiven myself for cheating on my husband with his younger brother. Having arguments with him about money was simply an act, so I wouldn't have to be present to guilt or shame for what I had done. Excuse me here. My husband forgave me years ago. It hurt him deeply. I will always remember him saying, baby, I forgive you if you forgive me for whatever my part was and what happened. We forgave each other, but I never forgave myself. I saw my current world around money was collapsed, was protecting myself from him, using my cheating as an excuse for anything he might do wrong, which he has never done in 10 years. Today, I finally did what he did 10 years ago and said a prayer to Allah, thanking him for giving me such a wonderful man and ending my prayer, forgiving myself. Wow. Later that evening, my husband and I had a wonderful conversation about our finances, and we were able to nail down all our issues and, more importantly, easy ways to resolve them. It was amazing. One more thing I want to share. Later in the week, a legal matter we had been waiting to settle was decided our way, and we received a check for $30,000. Woo-hoo! We have been working on this matter for several years, and it just cleared up. This is no accident. I say it has a lot to do with this course. May Allah bless each of you. I am forever grateful. Wow. Thank you for sharing this story. And I actually don't have I'm speechless about all of this. I think it is amazing that you were able to come to grips with the real issue was between your husband and yourself. And I think it's amazing that you came to forgiveness and you all can move forward, and that divorce is no longer the resolve. So, and woo-hoo on that legal matter working in your favor as well. So now let me check in with the team and see what Diva Robin has to say. Diva Robin.
Well, first of all, I want to say congratulations. That was an amazing realization that the real issue had nothing to do with money. You know, there are people who go their whole lives misidentifying the issues. So I think that was actually brilliant. And I hope that everyone who's listening will use what you shared to look for themselves to see if there's an issue that's really a smokescreen for an altogether different issue. I also want to acknowledge what you said and wrote to illustrate the difference between an improvement and transformation, because what happened was instantaneous. Improvement is gradual, whereas transformation happens in an instant. And I say that the transformation occurred for you, Gloria, in the moment that you saw through to the real issue and resolved to be honest about it. And then that you followed through and took it to your husband with such evidence of your commitment to your marriage and your love and integrity in your life. So, it's a privilege. It's just a privilege to have you in the course and to hear from you. Thank you so much. Wow.
Amen. I'm in agreement with that. Thank you, Diva Robin. Diva Jacqueline.
Yes. How are you today?
I am wonderful.
You guys?
How are you?
Excellent, especially after hearing this story. Just want to, I missed you guys last week, by the way. I was listening this morning.
We missed you too.
Just a change of perception. Just her deciding to maybe change the prescription on her perception of how she was seeing what was causing the conflict, change the course of her marriage. I thought that was so powerful. Because a lot of times, especially in our relationships, we make people a certain way, and we don't recognize that sometimes they're giving us that because of what we're giving them, and that they could give us something else if we decided to give them something else. You know, we're in our relationships, we are mirror reflections of each other. And what I see in you is a reflection of what's going on with me, what I'm giving off to you. And so it's just amazing that she was able to just switch the lens on that perception and see a whole nother screen of what was going on in her marriage.
I agree. I like what you said. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, just by doing that, and she could see herself in another way. She could see how the past was affecting the current world they were in right now, when those things didn't exist anymore. And we do that so much. We say, like, okay, I forgive you, but I'm going to still hold you accountable to these things that I know that you've done. Even though I say I forgive you. It's like fake forgiveness, you know. And another thing with her realizing that her behavior that she was carrying towards her husband was just all about the way she felt about herself. You know, I feel like when she maybe was picking fights with him about that, because in her eyes, when she looked at him, she saw herself still as the bad guy, even though he had forgiven her. She couldn't forgive herself. And just by changing that perception and looking at herself outside of herself and what she thought was right, she was able to see that. So I just want to say congratulations. That's an amazing story.
Thank you. And I love what you said, what you shared, Diva Jackie, about that mirror reflection. That's definitely food for thought. I think that's something that sometimes we don't consider that, and sometimes we forget, for those of us that are aware. Now, let's go over to Diva Janice. Diva Janice.
Hello. Listen, I just think that particular testimony is just so powerful, and I trust that all the listeners will find the courage to face what they've been hiding from. So I just say kudos, and it's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. That's what I have to say.
Thank you, Diva Janice. Diva Nakia. Do we have Diva Nakia?
Yes, I'm here in stealth mode, like the ninja. I just want to say that the ladies have spoken very gracefully on the share, and taking bold action and making a difference in someone else's life is amazing and a miracle in itself. And transformation can never supersede nor beat change or just working towards something. Just like she said, transformation is in an instant and it's permanent.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Diva Nakia.
Wow.
Ronnie Bean.
The first thing that I get present to is that it wasn't a matter that she changed her perception, because then that's like a mind trick that you can pull on yourself. I'll just change my perception. How's that going for you? She was able to see,
Yes.
He touched the corner of his robe, and he could see. And when she was able to see, it was like, oh, why? It's like someone slapping their face and going, why does my face hurt? Why does my face hurt? And I keep slapping it? Oh, I'm the one slapping it. How about if I stop this?
Right,
Now
right.
that I've stopped it, you know what? I didn't know how good it looks when my face ain't being slapped.
Mm,
Yeah.
My whole perception has changed. So,
right.
yeah, I just wanted to open that up more as a conversation for your perception changes as a result of getting authentic about where you have not been being authentic, and you may not realize it because that's why we do all this training because you may not even it may be so buried that you forgot, and it's just how it is.
Right.
But we have more quadrants, so I won't go that deep. Back to you.
And I want to say this again for Gloria. I like that when she really caught what was going on, that she went ahead and faced it and addressed it instead of running away from it.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, right? Now,
That was a tough one
Divas,
too.
I know, right?
Mhm.
Diva Jackie now, over to you.
Great. Okay. So today's entry I have from Henry from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Henry says, "Thank you, ladies, and to Ronnie B. My wife and I love your webinars, and this one about money and freedom has been great." I agree. Diva Janice and I have a lot in common. We both own corporations, but we could still have personal financial issues. What I like about this seminar is that it doesn't matter how much money you have or don't have, or how organized you are with your finances. It's about freedom. I own a small trucking company. We earn about 10 mil in revenues. Well, people look at that and figure we're swimming in cash. Of course, they don't understand business and usually don't get or care about profits and revenues, and they're two different things. They don't care to know that. Well, I saw in this conversation, I have been resenting people for not understanding where I'm coming from, especially when I turn down their requests for donations or give less than they wanted. Even though it wasn't true, hold on, I'm sorry. Even though it wasn't true, I had it. They were unappreciative, especially my church. I saw my predictable future was the church would come begging for whatever they were doing. They would ask for a large sum of money. I would counter that with whatever I felt appropriate. They would say, thank you. I would feel guilty for not giving more, then be upset because they thought I was cheap or stingy. I'm going to repeat that. They would ask, well, actually, let me start here. I saw my predictable future was the church would come begging for whatever thing they were doing. They would ask for a large sum of money. I would counter that with whatever I felt appropriate. They would say, thank you. And then I would feel guilty for not giving more and then be upset because they thought I was cheap or stingy. As I was looking at Diva Nikki's matrix, I saw the entire conversation was inside the matrix, and it was nothing but the past. When I was 9 years old, I had one slice of pizza I was keeping to myself, and my brother called me stingy. I've been trying all my life to avoid being labeled as stingy. Talk about a light bulb going off when it felt like a weight had been lifted. My wife said, maybe you can shift your occurring world to a I am fair. And just when it comes to sharing money.
Hmm.
So I'll repeat that in case, because I stumbled on that. And my wife said, maybe you can shift your occurring world to a I am fair instead of the stingy that was in his past occurring world from that experience.
Mhm.
I gave her a big fat kiss and broke out a huge smile. Thank you. And thank you, Henry. That was a good letter.
Yeah.
Henry, I just want to say, wow, that's deep. I definitely had that too. Mine was selfish. Like, I'm not going to be selfish. So let me make sure that I'm going the extra mile. I'm going to do what I don't want to do, even though I don't want to do it.
You little selfish countess, you. I saw you
You're
take
so
them cookies.
selfish.
I saw you take. You so selfish. Yeah.
How dare you not eat the last piece without asking somebody? How dare you go first? You know, yeah. How dare you stand out? How dare you stand out? How dare you show all this light and make other people feel a certain way? How dare you? You're so selfish. You're so selfish. You only think about yourself. And, you know, and that subconsciously controlled the way I operated just from hearing the word selfish from an encounter with my mother as a little girl. And I didn't realize that I was going overboard for people, or being a people. That's where my people pleasing came from, was because I didn't want to be labeled as selfish. So that was an awesome share. I think a lot of people will gain a lot from that. To just kind of figure out, why do I operate, you know, the way that I do? What makes me feel like I have to? Who am I proving that I'm not? Why am I doing something that I don't want to do? Yeah. All right. I'll pass it over to Diva Nikki. That just touched me right there.
Mhm. Understood. Understandable. So, I want to say to Henry that I want to first thank you for his share, but I want to say to Henry that not only did the realization come and can about the money matrix, the conversation, and the money matrix, going back to when he was 9, but also as a business person, as entrepreneurs, I think that we're all constantly battling between our reality and other people's perception and the different choices that people make, and trying to keep everything in check for ourselves and around other people, and especially regarding to our strive, you know, for what we define as success and everything as well. I think they all play a factor. And so to continue to be kind to yourself in your transformation and in your awareness in your growth. And no, you're not a stingy person. You're not that same 9-year-old boy. So welcome to your new world. Gonna go on. Yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you, Henry.
And we'll check in with Diva Janice. You have something to say?
Yes, I would. I think it's imperative that we learn, and it takes a moment, who we are assigned to and the season that we're in, because we can't be all things to all people, nor should we try. And sometimes those things we wrestle with.
Diva Janice, I just had to hold on to something you just said. Whew.
Yes.
I don't have to be all things to all people.
No, we really don't. It was never intended to be that way. Never.
I'm going with your program.
Listen, it took me a moment. And when I realized, number one, that we are divinely assigned to people according to the season. So that means certain folks should not be in your life during a certain season, because the season is supposed to produce certain fruit.
because it's a part of your evolution as a person here on earth. And once we get rid of the guilt of trying to be everything to everybody, life becomes so free. And we have the opportunity to expand our own world and be selective about our charities. Because if there's anything I truly detest, is people telling me how I should spend my hard-earned money. I lose my spirituality for a brief second because it's my money, and how I choose to spend my money is my business. So I that's what I would have. That's what I would say is understanding who you are assigned to and who is assigned to you. And lastly, don't take on any more than what is assigned to you for that day, because we only have 24 hours to work with, and we need to be present within those 24 hours so that we achieve whatever it is that has been assigned, divinely assigned for that day. That's what I have to add.
Thank you. Diva Nakia?
Yes, ma'am. Well, one of the first things that stood out to me is how people have the perception of who you should be, who you are to them in their eyes, and what you owe them, what you should owe them, what you should give to them, and what you should be able to do or shouldn't be able to do, and who and when and how you should or shouldn't do. And people do not try to step outside of their personal egos, their personal desires, their motivations, manipulations, their whatever they're standing in, and I say standing in because it could be whatever their shit is, basically, to make you fit into their mold. And it puts us oftentimes in a position of where we can't genuinely and authentically be who we are and who we are trying to be and who we're becoming, because we have so many different faces and we have so many different obligations and needs that we're trying to fulfill that has nothing to do with us. And I applaud you for standing your ground and saying, this is what I felt was appropriate. And humbly giving it unselfishly in that moment. And just being exactly who you were meant to be in that experience. So I applaud you, and I want you to continue to doing just that. Not making someone else or allowing someone else to make you feel uncomfortable or feel anything other than grateful that you're able to do and contribute. People don't try to step in your shoes and say, well, they got bills. They have a family to provide for. They own a business or a corporation. Just because it say 10 mil, 20 mil doesn't mean that's their profit. That's not what they necessarily take home. But there's a lot of people that we interact with or engage with that do not understand business, exactly as you shared. So that was one of the first things that stood out. And through your sharing and communication with others, you'll begin to engage with other people through your transformation that are like-minded, to where you don't constantly and have to continue to encounter those type of situations or persons, through creating new possibilities for your life and the people that you surround yourself with. Regardless on if it's your sanctuary, if it's your school, community, boards, it doesn't matter. You can create your own community. The other thing was, I applaud your wife and you being open to listen to her when she suggested to you to change the terminology and be clear with that, and you acknowledged her because she was listening to you and she was taking a stand for you for what was important, and you were able to really receive her. And that in itself is beautiful. And everyone always carry a label, whether we label ourselves through experiences, through what happened and where we're going, or what ifs, or through as a result of someone knowing you or not knowing you. Everyone is going to carry a label. It's what you choose to do with that label, which will determine and predict what happens with you and in your life. And as people and as children, we don't know. We just say, oh, wow, I'm not good enough because of an experience. And we wasn't taught or groomed to understand that just because someone said something about us did not mean we had to take it and put it on ourselves as clothing and wear it permanently. So I applaud you, because it's not a tattoo, and even tattoos can be erased. Now, it's painful, and sometimes even getting past those labels and removing those labels off of ourselves, it's painful, but it is possible. So I applaud you, and I want you to continue to stand in the possibility, because you are a testimony for so many. You are a spoken word for so many. You are a light for so many. And thank you for doing the work.
Thank you, Diva Robin. And I sorry, I do have to add on that really quickly, because that was excellent. I want to say a good exercise: become aware of the labels you carry. Write them down.
That wasn't Diva Robin, by the way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That was.
It wasn't. It was Diva Nikita. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Diva Nikita. I apologize.
But she does a great
that
Diva
was
Robin.
right. I'm going to speak with Diva Robin, but I suggest everybody write down the
it was interesting.
labels you carry.
It was really interesting that I think it was you, Diva Jackie, that you said that you shared the selfish thing. And oh my gosh, there's a hummingbird right outside my window. Anyway, I just want to share about the incident that I had and how I've dealt with it, I guess. So I've shared with all of you that I'm an artist, and I actually have done a piece about this, and I think Ronnie B is going to post it. So I was about 3 years old, and I was on my tricycle, and I rode my tricycle in front of my next door neighbor's house. And as I was in front of her house, I heard her say, I will remember these words, the exact words. And my nickname when I was a kid was Robbie. And she said, "That Robbie sure is a selfish child." And and that became a life sentence for me. And I lived my whole life trying not to seem selfish, but knowing that I was selfish. Like no matter what I did, it was never enough. So in my view, the most important part of all this is to deal with that part, is to deal with the part about seeing oneself as selfish or as whatever it is, finding out what is driving the discomfort. And anyway, so I did this piece, and it shows me on a tricycle, a picture when I was small, and it's going to have a story overlaid on top of it, literally, like in words. Oh my gosh, the sentence is, as I was riding my tricycle, by my next door neighbor's house one cool sunny day, I overheard her say, "That Robbie sure is a selfish child," which became a life edict and triggered my attempting ever after, with little success, to behave utterly selflessly in all circumstances, until a friend recently reminded me that everyone is selfish at age 3, thereby exonerating me at last.
Wow.
It was so wild. She said one sentence. Her name is Sharon, and she said, "Robin, everyone is selfish at age 3." And it was like, duh. But when you're 3, you don't know that. Or when you're 12, you don't know that. Or when it's your brother, you don't know that. Those things sink in and we take them on. And so you want to look at what is it that is really the truth. And you can't do it by trying to convince yourself of something different. Just like Ronnie B was saying, that you can't change the way that things seem to you. You have to get at what's really the truth, create a future, and then from there things will seem different. For me, doing the art, between my friends saying that and doing the piece of art, that is no longer an issue. It doesn't even occur to me. Anything I give freely. And anything I don't give is fine with me. And let me tell you, it was not that way for many, many years. So I deeply appreciate the authenticity of the sharing. And and I really do agree with everyone who said, boy, we all seem to have those kinds of life sentences that we take on and don't even know, and in a lot of cases don't even know how or when it happened.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I do just want to interject a couple of things, because there are future sessions. Hey, and in those future sessions, we're actually going to look at, I'll just say, your conviction. Okay? We're going to look at your conviction. And we're also we're going to look at your conviction, but there was something else in what Robin said, that you will have power. And one of the things that we're going to look at is the nature of change versus disappearance.
Yummy.
Yeah, and so we'll be looking at the nature of it. And if you think of nature, nature is already around you. It's not something you have to go out and find. It's just something you have to see and be able to, so it's the nature of something. And there's a nature around change, and there's a nature of disappearance. And
that's a different use of the word nature, Ronnie B. That's really cool.
So we'll be looking at that. And and also I'm going to interject this, so I don't forget it and stuff, is that in session 5 we have a huge surprise. Coach Diva, Robin, and myself are actually going to coach the participants to have a breakthrough in the area of money and freedom.
Woohoo!
We're going to do live coaching to some lucky participants. Back to whoever's managing this session. Diva, Jackie, back to you.
All right, perfect. And thank you, everyone, for sharing. And I'm actually going to take it back to Diva. Robin, okay, back to you.
Thank you.
Problem.
It's so great to have you and hear what you share.
You too.
So, you ready to get to work, everyone? I'm going to start with a bold statement. The bold statement is, your actions for having money and freedom in the present are based on the future you have created for having money and freedom. I'm going to say that again. Your actions for having money and freedom in the present are based on the future you have created for having money and freedom, not your past. Not your past. Surprise, surprise, not your past. If the past is dictating your actions in the present for having money and freedom, there is something inauthentic hidden from your view. And I'm going to say, or there's something inauthentic that you already see and have not dealt with.
Get him, Diva, get him. Don't grab off the hook. Janice is over there. They're going, have him take responsibility.
You bet. So you have the power to create the future anytime, under any circumstances, because of the power in your words. Your words impact you, your environment, your community, the world, and I'm going to say your world. And I don't mean your little world, I mean the whole world is yours. You have the power to create the future anytime, under any circumstances, because of the power in your words. Your words impact you, your environment, your community, and your world. So we have great news. We are going to review the real money mind matrix. And the diva who's going to take us there is Diva Jackie. So over to you, Diva Jackie.
Here I am.
Yay.
All right. I'm excited to get into this. Okay. The first money mind matrix we presented was about being present to the matrix. It's not about the matrix itself. Let's take a look at the real mind money matrix. First, we have the listening for money that's already there. The complaints that persist for having money. The predictable future for having money. Then we have the conviction and the lie for having money. And then fear, uncertainty, doubt. Oh, some of the biggest things I struggle with. We have our 4 quadrants. What do you see that is different? Our occurring future of money is mainly based in our past, and it impacts how we generate money or perceive how we can and should create income for living wealthy. This matrix keeps you boxed into your past experiences for generating wealth, money, and income. The past becomes the basics for generating your future of living wealthy. So basically, you're letting the future dictate, or the past dictate, what you're doing in the future with your money. Let me review each quadrant. Again, the living for money that's already there. The complaints that persist for having money. The predictable future for having money. The conviction and the lie for having money. All of these quadrants combine as a matrix to give you your occurring world for living wealthy, especially for money and freedom. Now, we're going to take a 6-minute break. And when we return, we're going to have an inquiry focusing on the future and one of the quadrants. The time is now 6:47 where you guys are, Central. I'm in California. It's 3:46 where I am. What's up? Is it Central? Is it 5, Ronnie?
It's
You do
5:46. 5:46.
5:46. Okay, thank you. It's 5:46 Central Time, so please return in 6 minutes. Enjoy your break. Get some water, bathroom. You don't want to miss this.
Encourage. I inspire and uplift others through my thoughtful words and gestures. Looking back, I may recall a time in my life when I was encouraged by a favorite teacher or friend. I have that ability as well. The words I speak to others have the potential to inspire and uplift. For words carry positive energy. Even a nod of the head or a warm smile radiates a harmonious vibration that affects others in a positive way. It is an honor and a great responsibility to hold a high vision for the lives of others and encourage them through empowering words and kind gestures. I feel a sense of great contribution to the world, knowing that I am influencing others in a positive way. I inspire and uplift others through my thoughtful words and gestures. May the God of steadfastness and encouragement grant you to live in harmony with one another in accordance with Christ Jesus. Romans 15:5. There's nothing anybody can do. There's nothing anybody can say. Everybody's already told you the love can be harder than tough, like a rodeo ride, or like something the time, or when you're on your own, loneliness cries. There's nothing anybody can do. There's nothing anybody can say. Somebody tells you that mending a heartache can be quite cathartic. You know that it's true, but wish you hadn't started. It's the life of the soul of your part is departed. Walk away your tears, it won't be long before your prince appears. Then you forget all the hurt, all the pain, all the swearing that you'll never go there again. It's the love that you tasted, was time that you wasted. A love in the sea, or and the wind's always turning. So don't hesitate, though your heart is still hurting. Somebody tells you that mending a heartache can be quite cathartic. You know that it's true, but you hadn't started. Cause the life of the soul of your part is departed. Wipe away your tears, it won't be long before your prince appears. Then you forget all the hurt, all the pain, all the swearing that you'll never go there again. It's the love that you tasted, was time that you wasted. The love's in the sea, the when the wheel's always turning. So don't hesitate, though your heart is still hurting. But there's nothing anybody can do. Nothing anybody can say. Everybody's already told you the love can be harder than tough, like a rodeo ride, or like surfing the tide, or when you're on your own, and loneliness cries. There's nothing anybody can do. There's nothing anybody can do.
Now, there's a little bit more of time. The break is not over. Uh, so, for those who are still tuned in, who are listening, uh, I'm going to give you a freebie. That's right, a freebie. Now, how many of you, and we're going to sneak this in during the break, don't let the divas know. They always get mad at me when I sneak in stuff during the break and they take away my cookies. But I'm going to sneak in something for you. And what that is we're going to have a little conversation about procrastination. Now, has anybody been afflicted by procrastination? And if you have, raise your hand, stand up in your seats, clap, whatever, if you have been afflicted by procrastination. Okay, let me tell you something about procrastination. Procrastination, the source of procrastination is lack of clarity with the purpose of what you're doing. When you lose clarity with what you're working or what you're working toward, procrastination sets in and it starts to undermine the integrity of what you're up to. So, procrastination is a lack of clarity. If you find yourself procrastinating, get present. Why are you doing the thing in the first place? And if it's something you shouldn't be doing, you need to be authentic about it so that you're not undermining your integrity. Okay, that was what we snuck in and during the break, but the break is over and it's time to turn this over to Diva Jackie.
Thought I heard you say you snuck something in, but I'm going to continue on. All right. So we're going to start a new inquiry. And inquiries always start with a question. Here's the question. What has you been and acting the way you are in the present? Take some time to really look deeply into the question beyond any automatic responses. What has you been and acting the way you are in the present? I'm going to be quiet for just a minute while you guys are looking at the question for yourselves. Most would say who we are being and how we are acting is a combination of our learned experiences, education, and circumstances. To sum it up, the past. Isn't it true who you are being and acting in the present is based on the accumulation of your life from the past? It makes sense, right? Well, we want you to try on something a little different. Who you are being and acting in the present is not based on your past. Say what? It's true. Who you are being and acting in the present is not based in your past. Well, that opens up the question. If who I am being and acting in the present is not based on my past, what is it based on? Who you are being and acting in the present is based on the future you are living into. If it seems like it's in the past, then there is something inauthentic from your past that has been put in your future. Everything you find in the matrix, all the limiting conversations and beliefs are the past misfiled in your future. For example, let's say your life is a filing cabinet and you have 3 drawers in the cabinet: a past, a present, and a future drawer. Now, sometimes your secretary gets distracted and will accidentally place something that should be in your past drawer into your future drawer. So when we deal with money, instead of seeing opportunity, you see all the mistakes of the past and you behave in ways to protect yourself from that past and miss the opportunity of the future. Or you make the past absolute or right, where only what worked in the past is acceptable, and you fear the future and miss the opportunity of the future. Ronnie B. and Diva Robin are going to share about having the past stuck in their future and putting that past back in the past and what opened up for them. I'm excited to hear.
Me too.
I really like that how you led that conversation, Diva Jackie. It really,
I like the way it was put together. It was just really good.
Smooth.
yeah, I like that. And it actually had me present to like 3 different events. And the one I'm going to share with was some years ago. I opened a video store, Down the Hill Video, and I opened it with my brother-in-law, and we had we opened it up, and we were all bright-eyed, and we didn't know anything about business, and we opened it for just the pleasure of being able to say that, hey, we were able to open something. No one in my family owned the business ever, nobody. And there were people in my family who, through their endeavors, they had money, but no one really owned a business ever. And for my brother-in-law, the same for him. Nobody in his family ever owned the business, and he had quite a few family members totally successful. And so we opened up our little video store, and we even took and the first month we opened it, I think we made like $20. And I don't mean profits, because as Henry said, there's a difference between the money that comes in and what's a profit. So, but we had $20 come in, and I remember it was in the fall. We had the video store open a couple of months, and one evening, one day we brought in like $50, and we went out and celebrated and had champagne. And for us it was just such a, we were naive, but we just loved it because we had our own business, and we were working round the clock to make it go. Well, as time went on, we started making a little more money, and we went from making $20 a month to a couple of hundred. So we were basically putting money into it, but there was some flow, and we were optimistic, and things would happen. And I remember the biggest thing that happened was, here it is. It's the night before Thanksgiving, and I'm working a full-time job. My brother-in-law's working a full-time job. We have one employee, and we're rotating so that we can cover the hours that she isn't working. And but basically, we're putting money into the place to have, and taking care of our own expenses out of us working. Well, it's the night before, and we had a couple of break-ins. So we secured the place, got security and alarms, all that stuff. Okay, but we stayed there. So I that day I happened to go to the video distributor, and I'm able to get the big release that was coming out was the color purple and the golden child. And with our little budget, with the little money we had, they said, "Hey, look, if you get like 40 copies," and that was like all our little budget, we'll do all this promotion for you and do all this stuff. And it was like, you know what, roll of the dice and put everything into it. Well, that night, I get a call from the alarm company to come to the video store. And I get to the store, and it's been broken into. And what they did was, because we had gates and all that stuff, they took a tow truck, took the hook from the tow truck to pull the gates out of the ground. Now you'd have thought we had some big, huge video store with TV. This was down. This a little small mine pop. But for whatever reason, they thought we had some. And they had came in and they had basically stolen all the videos and trashed the place. And I remember coming in Thanksgiving morning, and I'm looking, and the place is trash. And my brother-in-law comes in, and he looks and he says, "Man, I'm out of here. I'm through with it." And I'm looking, wow, you know what I do? What am I gonna do? And I remember this kid from the neighborhood. He poked his head. And he's like, "Wow." And he asked. He said, "Are y'all gonna stay open?" And I said, "Yes." I said, "Yes." And I said, "Yes." And I'm like, yeah, but you know, I said yes. And I looked and I'm like,
Yeah.
man, the place is trash. I don't have any videos and, I don't have any money. And I just started kind of cleaning up. And as I was cleaning up, trash didn't look like destroyed. Trash just looked kind of like disorder. So I picked up the empty boxes because they hadn't really broken. They didn't put paint on the carpet, anything. It just needed to be cleaned up. And I'm like, oh man, okay. Now I got the burglar bars have been ripped out. My door is smashed out. What am I gonna do? Hey, I got a buddy who's a locksmith. We've been good friends. I called him up and said, man, I ain't got no money. And this is what happened. And he's like, well, I'll be there. And when I get through with it, uh, you'll think Fort Knox is easier. And I'm like, well, man, I ain't got no money. He said, I didn't ask you about what you had. And I remember that I'm sitting up there and I'm like, well, okay. And more people were like, oh, you're going to open back up? Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to open back up. And I remembered that in the trunk of my car were all the new videos I had bought from the previous day. And that day,
Wow.
that Thanksgiving, we had over $1,000 in rentals. We never had that ever. And so my past would have said, hey, give up. Throw in the towel. Dude. Uh, but what I what I got out of that was that you just don't know. You just don't. I was able to hire
Yeah.
I was able to hire. you know, Here I am. I'm working a full-time job. I was able to hire. The woman who was already working for me, she this was her first job in 4 years because she had been a crack addict, and she was on the crack so bad. Her husband was a guard at Statesville Penitentiary in Illinois. That's one of those max, and he would come home and she would have drained the bank account. Smoking
Wow.
crack. That's a, and since then, she had done her thing,
Mm.
but I was she couldn't get a job, but she had a job with me. And oh God, the kid who he came in and he's like, man, I'm in a school work program. I can't graduate from high school unless I have a job. I'll take a job even if you don't pay me. And I could not have uh, someone work for me and not get paid. And he needed that job. So here he comes on with the crew. And the woman whose husband was killed by a drunk driver. And she got to be a manager. And the young lady Rose, who said, look, just let me have a job so I don't have the creeps, have to be around the creeps.
Mm.
So I got, you just don't know.
Wow.
So so that's what I have to share.
Wow.
Diva Jackie.
Whew. Well,
Wow,
should
that
I
was
just
just
jump in?
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry, Diva
I'm
Jackie.
sorry. No, go ahead. Robin.
Well,
I was caught up in Ronnie's story.
oh my gosh.
Really deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Powerful. Really powerful. Mm. So, what I wanted to share with you is that my parents were on the poor side. We did have food, clothing, and shelter, but not a lot of luxuries. And growing up, my parents made huge sacrifices in order to help me be well educated. So, I know they did without a lot for themselves, but they got extra art classes for me. An aunt of mine gave us a piano, and they paid for piano lessons. And they even helped me through college. And a long time back, for a number of years, I ran a custom made commissioned ceramics business where I did all the sales, all the accounting, I made all the art pieces, and it was pretty successful. And there came a time when I was able to afford my dream car, which at the time was a BMW. And I was so excited when I got it. And I called my father and told him that I'd gotten this car. And he started yelling. And he said, "What do you think you're doing? We're not that kind of people. Who do you think you are?" And I was so shocked because I thought he would be so proud. And I remember just being massively upset by his comment. So I started looking at why it was such a big deal that he had that reaction. And interestingly enough, within a few months after that, I went through a rough patch in my business and ended up having that car repossessed.
Mm.
So I would say I had not
Mm-mm-mm.
gotten to the bottom of it at that point. And I
Mm-mm.
don't know if anybody here
Oh.
has ever had a car repossessed, but they do not tell you that they're going to do that. You just wake up and you think your car has been stolen. It's like a surreal, mysterious,
A horrible idea. Yeah.
massively upsetting thing. And And there it was. My car had been repossessed, and I was like, oh my God, I've got to get to this because I think it's related to that my father was upset that I got the car. And so I started inquiring with myself, and I realized that I had decided when I was younger that it was not all right for me to be more successful than my father. And I don't remember if he ever did anything directly about it, but it was sort of a badge of honor, I think, in my family that, my father knew people who had become very successful in the same kind of work that he did, but I don't know whether it was true or not, but he led me to believe that they weren't really honest, and he was. So there was sort of like it was collapsed for me, like being wealthy and being honest did not go together. And plus, so and how I'd know I was honest was I was no more successful than my father, and I think there were the other components to it too, but so it turned out that my father's reaction was a gift, and having that car repossessed was a gift in disguise because it showed me where the lid was on what I was able to do in terms of financial success. That my business was successful as long as I didn't hit a rough patch. It wasn't really sustainable. Like if I'd gotten sick or if I went on a vacation, there was nothing to keep it going. So it was really like somebody living paycheck to paycheck. Only I was the business owner. And so my father's getting upset with me really was just a reminder of what I already had going on. And I started to see, how when you see something, you don't see it just about one thing. All of us, It's like dominoes. One falls over and the rest start to go, and I started to see all the places in my life. And I won't go into all the details, but I started to see how that whole thing about the lid to not be more successful than my father was all through my life. All through my life. And so I finally got to work on it. And I saw that even if my father was uncomfortable, I could still make a new choice. That my success in the present and the future had nothing to do with him, nothing to do with the past, and I could even have it be like that his shock could be looked at like he was kind of proud of me, like, who are you? How could you do this? It could be like, I could look at it like, oh, he was telling me not to do that, which he didn't. He didn't come out and say, don't do that. He just like, oh, we're not that kind of people. What do you think? And I was like, wait a minute. Maybe that was another way of saying he was proud of me.
Maybe he was like shock and awe.
Yeah. Yeah. So I started to look at it. So I just shifted how I looked at what was going on and took a stand for my future that was not stuck in the past or the future being, moved out into the past, because it was. What was predictable before the thing with my car was that it would be more of the same, and maybe I'd never have another car repossessed, but I was still going to have that same lid on what I could produce. So I called my father and I told him how proud I was of all that he had done and all that he had sacrificed to give me such a fine life, and that I couldn't be successful if it weren't for what he had provided. And that I was so admiring of his honesty and his values, and that I promised to carry them forward. And so fast forward to a couple of years ago, I got another BMW. I'd had other nice cars along the way, but not a BMW. And this one was my double dream car because it's a convertible.
Hey, and go girl!
But it was interesting because the first few months, I noticed that I still carried a little bit of guilt about having it, and I didn't want to be that kind of people. And so, and I even had my car getting had my car getting little fender benders, like in parking lots, people would back into my car and stuff. It was very funny, how the physical universe reflects what we have going on so much of the time. But so what I want to say, so I kept doing more work on it and cleared it, and now I'm free of that. But I want to say that when you've had a breakthrough, it doesn't mean that it won't ever come up again. The fact that I'd had a breakthrough and with my father and with being able to be more successful than my father, if that became available to me, didn't mean that I was never going to have those kinds of feelings again. It's just that when I do, it's easier and easier to deal with and to recognize what's going on. And I want to share one last thing about that. And I have one more thing just real quick, or I can come back if you want to say something in between. Like, I do have one more thing.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So a friend of mine told me that when it comes to happiness, it's like there's this vast ocean of happiness available, and everybody has a choice about whether to dip into it with a teaspoon or a giant bucket and to claim it for our own. And so I shifted from looking at it as if my having a great car was keeping somebody else from having one, or whether we could all have great cars, then I could be an inspiration. So that was let's see. Oh, I do have one more thing too, and that is that every time I say that something that seems out of reach is going to happen anyway, in my husband's and my life, we always, every single time, we end up having a windfall that covers the expense.
Glory to God. Yeah, I had to go over that.
That happened when we decided to build a swimming pool, and we're going to Australia at the end of this year. And we still could have we would have found a way to manage it, but in both of those cases, those large things, all of a sudden, money just fell into our lap to cover it.
Those
so a lot of times, all there is to do is just say what's going to happen and then see how. Instead of waiting for how. Instead of waiting to know how. Right.
Exactly. Or trying to look within your own self to make the how.
Figure it
it's
out.
Like, just do. I always tell people, do what you know to do, and then let the universe, let God do the rest. But you got to be clear about what it is that you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know I shared a whole bunch of different stuff, but anyway, that was what I had to say about that issue, about something from the past being changed for the future, being transformed
being stuck
for the future.
In your future. Yeah. Diva Jacqueline, Diva Jacqueline, she got to move it on.
Okay.
I was actually going to share,
but unless it's a burning share.
It's burning. It is burning. It's burning.
Jackson, let it go.
So I just want to say, what if she even took it from the context of being more successful than your parents or anybody for that matter, and look at it in the context of you being the best of who you can, you being your best you, and maximizing your potential and maximizing your information. In which case, it's not about being more successful. Maybe your parents, our parents, and whoever else, they did the best that they could do. They bested out, and you're bested out.
Decide what you want. Just figure that part out. Don't worry about the how. I'm gonna move this along before Ronnie B gets me. All right. So we have an exercise to start the process of revealing the predictable future for having money. You created the following categories: money and freedom. Under each category, you answered the question, what do I desire that I do not have, or is not at the level of fulfillment I seek? Next to each item you wrote, the predictable future. You were to include what happens or doesn't happen, lack of action, how you feel and who you are being, if you're upset, resigned, sad, identifying the emotion, the cost to your power and the ability to produce the results you desire around money. And before I share the email, I wanted to clear it up. I could hear a little static in the line. Somebody mute. Okay, perfect. Before I share the email from one of our fellow participants, let's review a few things about the predictable future. There is the future. The predictable, let me start over. There is the future, the probable future, the possible future, the certain future. We are inquiring into the predictable future. The predictable future is not guaranteed, is not a guaranteed future or certain future. And if you were a betting person, that is what you would put your money on happening. In the predictable future, you are a victim and you agree. This is pretty much how things will go, and you are resigned to that future. There is no possibility for it to go any other way or to resolve the issue. I'm going to share an email from one of our participants. Chastity Williams from Buffalo, New York. Divas, I did the exercise and I don't know what is worse, the predictable future or the vicious circle thing. I own a small business with 3 employees, and we are always struggling to pay the bills at the end of the month. What is predictable is that I will get close to the end of the month and start to panic that all the bills will not be paid. Then I will run around like a chicken with his head cut off and start being short, sometimes mean to my employees and my husband. I will call several clients to beg them to hurry up and pay. The bills get paid, but then the next month the same old thing happens, and I'm sick of it. I'm starting to see predictable futures everywhere, and most of them have me running around like a hamster in a cage. God bless, and please keep giving us these wonderful seminars. Is there any coaching from Diva, Robin, and Janice?
I'll let Diva Janice go first if you have some, sweetie.
I was I said it looked like
And I do.
it looks like she was asking, is there any coaching Diva, Robin, and Janice at the brother? Like I
please
and she
please
said,
do some coaching for Diva Robin. She needs it.
They did. Hold on.
That is
I'm
fine.
sorry. I was still reading her letter. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go right ahead.
Hold on. Let me finish Chastity up. She says that, is there any coaching Diva, Robin, and Janice can provide? I need some freedom. Sorry, that was me. She says she loves the chorus, the prosperous divas rock. Well, Chastity, first, let me pass it over to Diva Robin so I get my thoughts together.
Okay. Well, I've read this earlier and have a couple of ideas. So, first of all, I would say look at what you're getting out of all the running around and being frantic, like what the payoff is. Um, so there could be something as simple as that you have a superstition that if you don't do all that drama, that you won't be able to pay the bills. Like it's a necessary part of it. Like, okay, got to do all this and then it'll turn out. So if that's the case, you can just let go of it. Or you may be getting a big payoff, like sympathy from other people, or having other people see how hard you're working, or being right about how hard it is, and maybe there are even
sister,
people that you think should be working harder to help you and they're not, so you're having to do it all yourself. It could be a whole slew it could be one major thing, or it could be a big slew of things going on underneath or in the background that have you attached or have you stuck or have you even addicted in a way to that behavior. And then I also is look at what it's costing you. You were saying that you're hard on the people around you. I wonder if you're having a turnover from it. Are people not wanting to be around you because of it? You have to kind of look at both sides. One of which is, what's the payoff for all of this? And the other is, what's the cost? It could also be that you have a belief that you don't deserve real success or to be wealthy, so the struggle somehow makes you feel better. Like, oh, I do have this successful business, but look at how much I have to struggle. So it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the thoughts I have, is always to be looking at what's underneath.
Right. I agree. I would say even take a look at who taught you that, who taught you to manage like that. I personally had that same issue with my bills with my company and my books at first because I was taught to kind of pay everything late from the learned behavior that I experienced from my parents.
Oh, yeah, hold on to your money. Don't let them get it till the last possible second.
Yeah.
And
so I operated in that same way because it was the learned behavior. Nobody taught me how to manage my money the proper way. And so I was always struggling at the end of the month to manage to make sure, even though I knew that I would be fine because I always am. But because I was trained to operate in this way, that is the way I operated even with my business. So just becoming aware that you are operating and where that behavior came from, who taught you the behavior, becoming aware of that can give you the perspective of looking at it at a different perception.
That's a great point.
Yeah. How can I change what I'm doing with the way I'm managing what I have currently? And who taught me how to manage the way that I am managing now? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's great. Great addition.
Did you have anything else, Diva Robin?
No, that was all I had.
Okay. Diva Janice?
Yeah, I really love the pointers that were given regarding introspection. Many times it's really what's housed within us that prevents us from having the things manifest in our world. I personally have learned in my businesses I clear my atmosphere. When there's a lot of negativity in the air, number one, I do an assessment, and it's just for me, and it's also because I'm a very analytical person, but I look for synergy in my business. I am in a creative field, and it's imperative that we have people who are, number one, in a good space, because sometimes your employees, they need to resolve their stuff too before introducing that into the work environment. And I made it a practice of having just a few moments of affirmation that we do. And we have moments where we just laugh and talk about our roses and thorns, and the things that we expect. And also, I created an environment with my employees, if they feel as though it's time for them to move on, do so gracefully. They came to me gracefully. I would like for them to leave gracefully and leave my things intact. And with that said, we have an environment like a family. However, every family member, most certainly, they have their own responsibilities and things that I do expect at a certain level, which makes the business function. Now, regarding being frazzled about paying your bills, number one, and I forget who said this, I think two people said, you need to say that you're going to have everything, because everything that pertains to life and godliness or wellness is already provided. And you should tap into the energy that's readily available to give you the vibrational match so that you can have the outcome that you need for your business. Not once in a while, but every day. Something wonderful can happen every single day when you match up to this energy. But you have to tell yourself, and I believe it was Robin, Diva Robin, was the one who indicated you need to know that you are deserving. Because if you put a lesser value on what you deserve, the universe, unfortunately, gives you less, because you are attracting less. I get up expecting more to come. I expect abundance to come. I don't want to just feed myself and feed a few employees, but we want to filter over into the community. We want to go back and touch people. We want to create a legacy. That's what I expect of myself. This is what I put out into the universe, that we have new folks who are assigned to us. They have to come to us. They don't know their lives are being disturbed right now because they haven't met me yet. So we put these fillers out there, and God honors it. So I would say to you, Chastity, expect the best. And most certainly do assessments on what it is that's not working, and look at what is working. And then expand your presence. It's really imperative that a lot of people know about you versus a few people knowing about you. So whatever means are necessary, invest the time and the resources to make that happen. And I'll end it with this. There are services that can help you put packages together for free, because AARP, they have a senior staff of people who are looking to give back. I would suggest that you would contact your local branch and have a consult so that people can help you assess. Many times you just need a fresh set of eyes on what you've been looking at. And I'll end it with there.
Thank you, Diva Janice.
Diva Janice did not send you a bill, Chastity.
No, that I'm paying it forward. I'm paying it
Yeah.
forward. Oh.
Yeah, that was it. The only thing I wanted to add into the coaching was that thank you, Chastity, for being coachable.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is not coachable, and so it's always great
Mhm.
that when someone is taking the coaching, because if you hear what people are saying, no one has said these are the right things to do. They may behoove you to do them, okay? But no one say, oh no, this is, hey, look at it, try it on. It may behoove you to call up AARP and say, you know what? uh, I've been playing this game with myself called Get Frantic at the end of the month and be the superhero and get the bills paid, but it's starting to wear me down. And you may get the support you need. So that, and the other thing is that you always win the game that you're playing. So right now you're winning the game called Be Frazzled to pay my bills. You're winning that game. How's that
Hmm.
working for you? Because you're winning it. You always win the game you're playing. You may want to consider
Yep.
that you, as Diva Janice was saying, maybe you need a bigger game.
Hmm.
Everybody need to know what you're doing. See, then you'd have something worthy of being frazzled. Back to you, Diva Jacqueline.
I'm going to add on to that really quick. Money obeys what you believe about it.
Hmm.
So
That's
if you
such
just
a
believe,
great expression of it. Yeah.
yeah, if you believe you're just going to have enough to get through every month, that's exactly what you're going to have. If you believe you're going to have to struggle to get through the next month, that's what you're going to get. Money is going to show you evidence of what you believe about it. I just wanted to add that. Diva Nikki, did you have anything you wanted to add
No, actually, you
for
got to move
Chastity?
it along.
Oh, I got to move on. Okay, Ronnie B says I have to move it on. But I am going to go to you, Diva Nikki. We're going to go into a deeper conversation into the matrix. We have an exercise that we're going to do with Diva Nikki. Over to you.
All right. Get your pen and paper out. Let's get ready. It's already be out, actually. So this is, of course, the having exercise. Our exercise this week looks at the second quadrant, the complaints that persist for having money / the predictable future for having money. So create the following categories: money and freedom. Under each category, answer this question: what do I desire that I do not have or is not at the level of fulfillment I see? Next to each item, write the complaints that keep persisting around having money or being able to manifest money. Next to each item, write what way are you being around this issue or how do you behave? Next, answer these questions. Am I getting a payoff? That ought to sound familiar. For having this issue persist. What or who am I making wrong regarding this issue? How do I get to be right by having this issue persist? Who or what views / opinions do I invalidate regarding ways to resolve the issue? Justify that my views or opinions are correct, even if they are not working for me. Who or what am I avoiding?
Diva Nikki.
What?
Can you read
What?
that last one?
Who or what views / opinions do I invalidate regarding ways to resolve the issue? Justify that my views or opinions are correct, even if I know this is where you got your kick at. I know, even if they are not working for me.
Oh God. Yes, people will cut off their noses to spite their face.
To spite their face.
They will run. They will hurry up and go get it. Go give me that razor to cut off my nose.
Okay, like my mama would say, throw the baby out of the bathwater.
Baby, go.
Okay, yeah. Yes. Who or what am I avoiding and doing what really needs to be done so I will not be dominated by another or something? Who or what am I trying to dominate in the resolution of the issue? Am I simply avoiding responsibility? Okay, now I know that seems like a lot. It is a lot because this is about your life. Your life matters. Your life matters. Your life is important to each diva. We honor and respect your struggle, your challenges. Next to each item now, write the predictable future. Include what happens or doesn't happen, lack of action. How you feel and who are you being? Upset, resigned, sad. The cost to your power and the ability to produce the results you desire around money. While you are inquiring into the exercise, the having exercise, let me ask the divas what they can see is available from someone doing the exercise. And I'm going to start off with Diva Janice. Starting off with Diva Janice.
Yes. Okay, now Rob, Diva Nikki, I need you to set that last part up for me one more time.
Okay.
Just the last part.
Okay. Include what happens or doesn't happen. The lack of action, for instance. How you feel and who are you being? Upset, resigned, and sad. The cost to your power and ability to produce the results you desire around money.
Okay, excellent. Well, for me personally, I like to, well, not that I like to, I write out the end from the beginning and I work it back because I believe you already embody the seed to produce anything that you want in life. So for me, I look at what my end result is going to be. Then I start evaluating who I need, why I need them, what I need to do, my level of involvement in terms of sacrifice for whatever time period. I need to give up something to make that happen, or do I need to spend more money to have somebody else do certain things so that I can have more free time to think? I like to, in terms of what happens or doesn't happen for me, I like to be in a thinking environment. I pride myself on having a thinking environment and being around great thinking people. And I invest, when I say invest, it's not money, it's time, where I sit with some really great people at a coffee shop, at least every other day for 2 hours. And the conversations are so enriching and life-changing. They make some things happen for me because just listening to them, I'm challenged at a level because these are people who have done more and they freely share their information. So it compels me to go back and create that environment where people are benefiting me, that I'm adding value to everybody that comes in contact with me. So it is, in essence, has become my religion and my conviction. Because as a part of my predictable future, I understand whatever I make happen for others, I'm going to make happen for myself, because the law of reciprocity will only give me back what I put out. So that's my predictable future, and this is what I know works every time.
All right. Next, thank you, Diva Janice. Diva Jackie.
Diva Nikita, are you ready? Because I'm still kind of working through my thoughts that I want to share here concerning this.
Okay. And just to kind of Diva Nikki, the last part was we were actually asking while the folks were inquiring into the exercise, we just wanted the divas to share what they can see is available from someone taking on the work or doing the exercise. So just wanted to
Right.
clarify that. Okay. So we
Oh,
can go
Thank
back
okay.
to
Well,
you.
then
Diva
I
Yes.
can speak.
Nikia.
I wanted to be clear.
But I love what Diva Janet shared because it's valuable. But just wanted to didn't want to confuse folks.
Right. I just
Okay,
repeated
Ronnie B.
what I had said prior to because
I know
she
I
asked
got
me to repeat it.
yeah, got it. And Diva Nikia, we don't have
She's
Diva
not
Nikia.
ready. I could speak.
Okay, we know that. Yeah, these divas. Go for it, Diva Jacqueline.
Okay. Um, just going through the conversation today has just brought me even more clarity. You know, having the awareness of what you are doing in the situation, what you are saying, how you are operating, what is your ritual? What are your rituals? Because we're habitual creatures, and sometimes I feel like we lose sight of that we are habitual creatures that work in habit. What are my rituals? And just becoming aware of what your rituals are or what your habits are. Now you have clarity on what you need to do next. Then all that's left is the action. Sometimes we just try to take action without having the clarity, and that's what messes us up the most. It's the clarity first, and then take the action.
Definitely agree.
And that's all I wanted to say. Yeah.
Thank you, Diva Jackie. Diva Nikia,
Of course.
are you ready? Okay. Diva Robin?
Yeah, I'm ready. So it was Ronnie B. You and I are so in sync tonight because here's what I had actually already planned on saying was that one of my favorite teachers had a saying, and that has stuck with me ever since I heard it, which is, people are always winning the game they're playing. Sound familiar?
We're in the same class.
Same class, but it came up about the same issue. And if it seems like we're not winning or they're not winning the game, then you've misidentified the game.
Yep.
So
Yep.
someone may appear to be struggling to work out finances with her husband, while the real game is avoiding the shame for the unfaithfulness that she hasn't forgiven herself for. Right?
Yep. You always win the game you're playing.
You're always winning the game.
But what is it? What is the game?
Yeah, just have to figure out, what are you winning at?
Yeah.
So when you look at and tell the deep down truth about what you're really doing and what your motivations are, you're back in power. Just like I think with Gloria, that the truth does set you free. And in what Gloria shared when she told the truth about avoiding her own shame, she had the power and freedom to communicate and work out the really simple issues having to do with money. So a lot of times, again, is always to look at what's underneath it, what's really running the show. And whenever anything seems to be a struggle, then the game is struggling.
Wow.
Oh.
Ouch. Right? Ouch.
Yeah.
I'm successful at struggling. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Talk about a cold splash of water. Oh,
Right?
mm-mm-mm.
So that's what I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you, Diva Robin. Thank you,
Thank
Diva
you.
On that note, I'm gonna have to have you move it around along because
Okay.
just to be responsible for the time.
Okay. So we're going to take a 5-minute break. The time is now 6:52 Central Standard Time. Please return at 6:57. On the other side of the break, we have the Empress of Faith with the Prosperity Disaster.
Truth within. More truth lives within you than you have yet allowed yourself to discover. Open up to it. Give expression to its wonders. Envision the spark of an idea catching fire. See it blazing its way into reality through your mind and your hands. Seek for beauty, meaning, substance, joy to enter into life because of your life. Live each moment in a spirit that welcomes truth and goodness and gives them living expression. Have the courage to feel what you have never felt. Engage your patience, your diligence to give voice to those feelings. Live to know, to feel, to see what is true. Live to bring that truth to life in your own unique way. Vast stretches of love, beauty, truth, goodness today await your discovery. Live to let it all flow into life. Straight flash, man city rush, ghetto crush, pull over my styles with me. Let me lick on the substitute of this chaotic life I choose, oh yeah. Mr. Pullover, oh yeah. Let friend me over, cool down. Pull over, Mr. Ice Cream Man. 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 Roll the boat. Get it while it's still cold. Blow, flow, show the road. Pull over, Mr. Ice Cream Man. Pull over, Mr. Ice Cream Man. Pull over, Mr. Ice Cream Man. Watch it, punching at me, don't let no. Fish is plenty, don't got no soap. Tell me, I cannot cope. Lonely, shorty, come we elope, yeah. Hurry, freaky, why you picking on me? Do it quickly, just let me be. Phony, can keep up on a pony, foofy. Come and show me, oh yes. Pull over, Mr. Ice Cream Man. Pull over, Mr. Ice Cream Man. Pull over, Mr. Ice Cream Man. Pull over, Mr. Ice Cream. Slow down on a Saturday. My name is still a mile away. I've you all so far away. Pull over, Mr. Ice Cream Man. 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 Oh yes, can't get to where I wanna be. So long I've been waiting at this hiking spot. Can't even lean on a tree. Every single one I lean on, they jump. Every time I plant a seed, Mr. Contraceptive Germination stop. When I'm resting on a beat, they never give me enough. They only give me one drop. To where I wanna be. So long I've been waiting at this hiking spot. Can't even lean on a tree. Every single one I lean on, they jump. Every time I plant a seed, Mr. Contraceptive Germination stop. When I'm resting on a beach, they never give me enough, they only give me one. Let me become the substitute of this chaotic like my tools, oh yeah. Mr. Pullover, oh yeah. Never me over, good, no.
All right, we have about a minute before the break is over, and this is Ronnie B, and I'm going to sneak in a couple other things while the divas are powering their nose. And one of the things is that O is OPP. Now you've all heard of OPP, and that is other people's priorities. Hey, you heard Diva Janice say that you should only take on what you are assigned to that day, and they take on theirs. If you are dealing with OPP, you don't need to get any medication, you don't have to get any pills. Just I'm gonna give you the magic word. No. Try it on. No. All right. And then the other thing that can get you, it can sneak up on you. Being concerned over the perceived doubts of others.
Vanity.
You worried about somebody else's doubt of your actions. Cut it
Oh yes,
out.
speak it, Ronnie.
Cut it out. But the break is over, and I think that we need to turn this over to Diva Nakia.
Well, 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 well. Lord, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. Quit setting me on fire because I am truly learning the true lesson of the meaning no when dealing with others, people. Woo! Jesus,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Jesus, Jesus. Glory, hallelujah. Thank you, Lord. I'm a testament and a testimony to that lesson. Yes, I am. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Woo! Yes, indeed. So welcome back, everybody. I am Nakia, the Empress of Faith. I have a great divine future prosperity blaster for you this week. To design or create anything, you must start with a blank canvas or slate. Yes, indeed. I had to catch my breath. So, prosperity. I accept the abundance of God flowing to me and through me right now. Not later. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next year, but I said right now. So try that on. The biblical land flowing with milk and honey represents spiritual abundance and freedom. I've been hearing freedom throughout this entire show from the listeners, the participants, and those that are actively engaged. Whew. Freedom. It portrays a life overflowing with blessings, a full life, a life full of divine potential. The truth is that I am living in a land flowing with milk and honey right here and right now. I didn't say tomorrow, next week, next year. I said right here and right now.
There is a constant flow of good in my life. My prosperity includes the assurance that wholeness, wisdom, and freedom and strength are mine. Now let me back up. There is a constant flow of good in my life. My prosperity includes the assurance that wholeness, wisdom, and strength are mine. And hence, I said freedom. So it was meant to be said. Knowing this, I am bold in spirit. I am aware of my own divine potential for living the life of my dreams. And I hope you all are thinking about what I'm saying and trying this on and just revisit this and just say it for yourself in the mirror and receive it. I accept the abundance of God that is always flowing to me and through me. I give and receive joyously and gratefully. He brought us into this place and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. We have a very powerful exercise this week that will blow the lid off of your cash flow. Is there anyone interested in having a breakthrough in their cash flow? If you're not, stay silent. Ooh, wow.
Me.
Oh, I'm supposed to ask that one more time. Because I want to make sure everyone got that and everyone was present to their opportunity of self-acknowledgement. We have a very powerful exercise this week that will blow the lid off of your cash flow. Now, the question is there anyone interested in having a breakthrough in their cash flow?
Me.
Okay, if you insist.
Me.
Yes.
Just this one.
Yes. We should all be, no matter how your cash flow is identified by you, we can always take a little bit more and be more responsible. So, yes, to have this breakthrough, it is going to cost you some money. Yeah. Exactly $7. Yeah, it's a whole lot, right? To have this breakthrough, it's going to cost you some money, exactly $7. And if you do the assignment the way it is designed, you will have amazing breakthrough results in your personal or business cash flow. $7. 7, such a divine number. Yeah, right? Here's the assignment for the next 7 days. Give away $1. Yes, I know she did not just say give away, right? Yes, I did. Give away. Set free. Relinquish. Release. Let go. Distribute. Give away $1. To someone who occurs as wealthy or living wealthy. No, not to the person on the corner, the homeless, what you perceive as a poor person, under-enfranchised, disenfranchised, someone who you perceive as wealthy or living wealthy. When you give away that $1, be present to the conversation. Have your journal and log the conversation in your daily journal. After you give that $1 to that someone, each day, if you did the assignment, write it down and say what opened up for you, not for that person. Say what opened up for you. If you did not do the assignment, write that in your journal and say what opened up for you for not doing the assignment. So it's no getting out of the assignment, whether you give the dollar away to a wealthy person or one perceived to be wealthy, or whether you don't. Write down what opens up for you. If you gave it away, write in a journal what the conversation was. And as a result of giving away that dollar, what opened up for you? If you didn't, what did or did not open up for you as a result of not participating, not taking the action? You will and you always win the game you are playing if you play this game full out. You will have miraculous results. That's called a bold statement of your power. Let me see how many divas are going to play the game. So, divas, are you in or out? Robin?
In.
Oh, all right, Nikki.
It's your name, Robin.
Well, I was just so eager to answer.
But you're welcome. You are welcome to speak for me in this case.
Hey.
Okay, Diva Robin is in. Diva Robin is in.
I love it. So, let's say, Nikki, my love, are you ready to participate?
I am so ready to participate. Like, I can hardly wait.
Hey, on fire, honey. Janice?
Absolutely. I'm going to pay it forward, and I'm going to learn in the process.
Hey.
Love it.
Robin. Yes. Robin?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Jacqueline?
Yeah, I'm definitely in, and I'm so excited about what I'm going to learn through the experience.
Hey, yes. So I called out Janice, Jackie, Robin, Nikki, Ronnie. You're up.
I'm keeping my dollar. I need my dollar.
So you're going to play devil's advocate, right?
I'm keeping my dollar.
Okay, that's fine.
Ronnie's going to be the
so that way,
and play the devil's advocate.
She take lots of notes on what you did not learn.
I'm in. I just was.
That
I
is
was
what
just
I'm
having
talking
some
about.
fun. I mean, and something that's already opening up for me is that something that would work for me is to like actually meet people who occur as living wealthy. That would be like a good thing.
Yeah.
So I'm using it as like an incentive to like, maybe, that would be a good thing for you to expand.
Right, and that may even require you to take yourself out of your familiar environment and place yourself in an environment in which you will encounter someone who is or is perceived to be wealthy.
Hey, you got to be, as they say, you have to be where the where the people are.
That's right. You can't walk out your front door and be like, "Hey."
Will not work. But now, ladies,
I'm just thinking about
I
what
just want y'all
am I going to say to
want-
this person?
I just
Hi, here's $1.
Hey,
I'm doing an
well,
experiment.
I can advise some things. I can advise some things not to say. Hey, come here. Got $1 for you. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I thought that was kind of cool, though.
Absolutely. So just be mindful of the conversation that you have, because regardless of the status or the stature of a person, and even the perception of a person, because a lot of wealthy people don't walk around in suits and drive Beamers and Mercedes Benz. A lot of them live a modest
Hmm.
lifestyle. So be mindful of judging and prejudging people too carefully. And the person who's dressed up in the what is it, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, and Michael Kors and all that, sometimes are the poorest people walking around. So be mindful of that as well. So take yourself outside of your element, outside of your comfort zone, and encounter some people. You never know who you will make contact with, and even if they don't, they're not willing to receive the dollar. At least you can give
Well,
that person a smile and acknowledge.
don't fix it for 'em.
Okay, cool,
Yeah, don't
great.
do that. Don't do that. This is an adult conversation. It really is. And people, so much stuff is either designed to be over your head, like you got to get something that somebody else got that you don't, or
Mm,
that belittles you.
mm,
And you are adults. This is an advanced. This is even though it's living wealthy, the basics to if you're in this particular seminar, it's because you already are advanced.
mm. Got
That's
it.
why we have other seminars where we kind of break stuff down, but in this one, our stand is, we already said what we're committed to, so we can't play with you. It's just like Diva Robin earlier. You know, she was throwing all that cold water. Wow, wake up! This is the real deal. So carry on, Diva Nakia.
Indeed. So yeah, if you really want to play, if you really want to have fun with this assignment, invite others to play. And when you give away the dollar, don't tell people it's an assignment. You might be surprised what they say. Keep a daily log
No,
or
not
post
what they say.
what you say.
What did
Thank
Diva
you. I knew
Robin
that was
say?
kind of
What am I
strange.
gonna tell them? You might be surprised.
Yeah, I knew that was kind of strange. I was like, why did I say that? Okay, maybe that's what I don't know. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that. If you really want to have fun with the assignment, with this assignment, invite others to play. And when you give away the dollar, don't tell people it's an assignment. You might be surprised in what you say. Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you. That was a great listening moment. Keep a daily log or post daily on Facebook any results or insights, and please share with the Prosperous Divas. All right. Now, whoo, thank you so much for remaining present and being engaged. So, we have a couple of ways for you to stay in the conversation for living wealthy, the basics, money, and freedom. Being at our next session, which is Living Wealthy, the Basics, Money, and Freedom session 4, Sunday, June 10th, 2018, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., and that is Central Standard Time. And Jacqueline, you
Diva
said
Nikki,
you're on
I
East
just
Coast?
wanted to insert a special little heads up. Uh, Now, session number 5, if you're a listener or you have people that you know who have concerns when it comes to money and would like to have a breakthrough in that concern and having freedom around that issue, we're doing a special session number 5. Diva Robin and I, we're going to actually coach participants and listeners. So we'll actually open up the mics and you say what your issue is, your concern, and we promise you that you will have freedom at the end of our coaching. And the coaching will be succinct. It's not going to be something you got to go away and do right there in that moment. We will coach you, and you will have freedom in the specific area that you have an issue or complaint. Okay, so just wanted to let you know, we've never done live coaching, Diva Robin and myself are going to. Now, the Divas will be there to back us up and add insights, but we're going to coach you through. So we're going to do as many people as we can. If it's two, three, one, whatever, hey, uh, but it is an opportunity. Back to you, Diva
Well,
Nakia.
thank you so much for that information, Ronnie. And I am making a bold request of every listener to get two or three of your friends, people of all walks of life, anyone, and ask them to join you in doing the work. Ask them to join session 5. Ask them to join session 4 so they can be privy to what we're doing and expose them so everyone can prosper together. Jacqueline, it's 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, June 10th for session 4. What time would that be in your location?
3 p.m.
3 p.m. to 6 p.m., right?
5.
No, 3 to 5. Okay, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely we need to make sure that everyone in every time zone is aware, get in action, and be ready and be on the call and on the webinar. So visiting Prosperous Divas and receive our 4 prosperousdivas.com. Put the .com on there, get in the right space. Visiting prosperousdivas.com. Come and receiving our 4 free 4-part series, recognizing winning conversations that no longer work. Woo! Visiting prosperousdivas.com and receiving Diva Inspiration, a weekly newsletter with insights into the world of prosperous thinking from Diva Nakia. Didn't mean to say that. Diva Nikki, Jackie, and myself, Diva Nakia. I always like to put those beautiful ladies in front of me because I am the speaker at the moment. So, acknowledgement. Visiting us on Facebook and posting facebook.com/prosperous divas. Diva Jackie, how would you like the people to learn more about your activities in Mind Rights 365?
Thank you, Diva Nakia. I welcome everyone to visit my website, Mind Rights, WRITES 365.com. I have a cool free assessment that you can try there. And we also do personal coaching, and my books are available for purchase there as well. Learn more about transforming the story your mind writes. Thank
How
you, Diva Nakia.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Diva Janice,
of course.
What is happening? Thank you, love. What is happening at Powers for Now? Ooh, I got it right this week. .com. Including that TV deal you made happen with Hollis Media.
Thank you. Oh wow, it's been a lot of work, but we're doing some fantastic things right now. We're still working on the Dignity Project with our young girls in Africa, and most certainly we want our audience to tap into that. You can learn more by visiting the website at power4now.com. That's power4now.com. And by the way, the TV deal is a show just for men, and it's an exciting process, and I'm delighted to be one of the senior producers of the television show. So thank you.
Hey, congratulations.
Awesome. Look at
Thank you.
Keep the love
Thank
flowing
you.
now.
Hey.
Yes, it is.
Congrats.
I'm with the
Yes.
rising tide, but
Thank
the
you.
tide weighs all the shipping, so come on.
Okay. Hi, hey. So,
That sounds good.
I definitely want everyone to be present to the Dignity Project. It is a movement. It is a movement. It is a movement. So do not step over it. I've been hearing so much more about the opportunity and about the work recently. just this week, and to be able to be a contribution to those young ladies is something that doesn't come to you every day. So be present, everyone, and see how you can be a contribution in any capacity. So again, congratulations on Hollis Media and Diva Janice. Ooh, man,
thank you.
Y'all better get ready.
Hey, you didn't ask me, Robin. I'm here.
No, I'm not done, Robin.
Oh, I'm sorry. You sounded like you were winding up without me.
No, love. Oh, would never, ever.
Yeah.
No, I was just finishing.
I know you're tired. Come on.
That is too funny. So no, I was just acknowledging Janice and telling the men just get ready.
I beg your pardon. I'm so sorry.
No,
for not trusting you there for a moment.
And Diva Nakia, you can move this on.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if you, Diva Nikki, if you would like to learn more about Diva Nikki's wealth building programs, visit com future-wealth or email her at currencytrader@prosperousdivas.com. And of course, never last and never the least, Diva Robin, a.k.a. Leonardo da Vinci.
I wish you all could see my face. I think it's bright red at the moment. Anyway, I'll be very
I'm sure it's a beautiful color.
So, you can reach me. You can look at my work on robinjamison.com, ROBYNJAMISON.com, and you can reach me for various services, including coaching, and I also do writing and editing and art commissions. I'm kind of multi. My email address is Robin, ROBYN, artist, @gmail.com, and my motto is bring art to life.
Wow. How beautiful. Thank you, my love.
Thank
you. And it's great artwork, too, might I add. I've been to your website. It is great artwork. Very creative.
Thank you.
Very capturing.
Awesome.
Thank you, Diva Nikki. Very sweet.
So, everyone, to say the least, you can visit me, find me on appointedtimeforyou.com. You can inquire about any consulting services. If you have family or friends that have been incarcerated, youth that have parents that are incarcerated, family members that are trying to re-enter the communities and societies and need assistance, consulting, guidance, or a coach, that would be me. Also, I am doing life insurance, so you can contact me also at appointedtimeforyou.com just to inquire, and then I can get with you on a different site concerning opportunities to get you and your family insured. And don't do GoFundMe. It's all about being prepared in advance and living the life and not worrying the life and tend to things after life is no longer available to you or your loved one. So, for more information about workshops and seminars, visit us at prosperousdivas.com. Tonight's Prosperous Divas are Jacqueline Brown, Janice Hollis, Robin Jameson, Nikki Taplin, and myself, Nakia Franklin, the Empress. Please enjoy the performance at the end of the seminar tonight. Prosperous Divas. Prosperity is a mindset that can be created by anyone. Peace, love,